All right. This is assignment 5D, as in David, general techniques, with Royce F. Robinson as the therapist and my brother Wendell Sims as the client. And we are discussing general techniques after coming through solution focused counseling in the previous weeks. So it'll be a combination of all. Good afternoon, Mr. Sims. How are you, sir?
Doing fine, sir. Good afternoon. Appreciate you. How are you?
Doing fine. I'd like for you to follow me, invite you back to my office where we'll be spending our time together. You can sit, sir, over here next to the window, or you can sit on the couch over here next to the aquarium, wherever you'd like. Can I get you any water, coffee, or anything like that?
No, I appreciate it. I'm good.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. How was your drive in?
Drive-in was good. They were doing some road construction, but not enough to have to detour. So that was good. I appreciated that.
Okay, okay, sounds good, sounds good. I want to let you know, for starters, we do record our sessions. We do that for the purpose of training, ongoing training, because we can always get better at what we do. I can always get better at how I serve people in the area of counseling, so it's good for that. Also, these sessions are between you and I. All right, what's discussed here is strictly between you and I. There are a few exceptions to that. That those exceptions, if my records are subpoenaed, my files are subpoenaed for whatever reason from the courts, I have to comply to that type of law enforcement. If my supervisor wants to audit my files to see how I'm doing, to make sure I'm doing my job properly, then I have to give that over. Also, if you mention anything in the sessions as it pertains to hurting yourself or hurting someone else, then we have to disclose those files in those moments. All right. Do you have any questions regarding any of that?
No, sir. I understand that fully.
Okay, good deal. And the type of counseling that we're going to be doing is called SFC, Solution Focused Counseling. And that just simply means we're going to be focusing on the solution to the problem as opposed to the problem. The problem happened in the past. All right. And so we're going to look at that, but we're going to be spending most of our time going forward. There'll be some present day things that we can look at, but mostly we're going to be looking at how we can bring about a solution to the problem. All right. So now that you understand, is that clear to you in terms of what we're going to be doing?
Yes, that's pretty clear.
Sounds good.
Dealing with the problem. Yeah.
Now that you understand that, let's talk about what brings you in. What brought you today?
Another slight anger issue, I guess I can call it.
Okay.
I work at an alternative school with high school students. I'm teaching English. I may have multiple grade levels in the one class setting, uh, 9th through 12.
Mhm.
And these are students who have been, for one reason or another, dismissed from their regular high school into an alternative setting. I call it like a rehabilitation setting
Mhm.
because of some infractions that they've had. So I have some gang members that might be in the classroom. Um, those type of students, at-risk students, if you will. And I have rules, as any teacher, in any classroom does have rules. And one of the rules is I ask them to remain seated. Raise your hand, don't come to me, I'll come to you. And this student appears at my desk, and the class is already loud and rowdy, louder so I'm already up a notch in my anger level. And I'm wanting the class to get quiet and get down to work. And it's not a large class, but still enough of them. It sounds large because of the amount of noise that they're making. So, make a long story short, um, I use some words, I call it maybe lightweight profanity, in order to get the student to sit down who was standing at my desk, who came up to my desk. I use the D word and I say, go um, sit down. And I said it, I feel bad about saying that, as a teacher, and not only as a teacher, but as a minister, um, probably shouldn't have said, well, I know I shouldn't have said it in those terminologies. I could have just told him to sit down, but instead I put some other explicatives in there, not the hardcore stuff, but still enough to feel bad about it. And that's pretty much it. It did get results. Now he went and sat down, and the class got quiet. But now it's my concern is how they're looking at me now as a teacher, preacher, that kind of thing.
Okay, okay. Uh, Um, how do they look at me now? Okay, sounds good. Well, listen, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for sharing all of that with me. I think it takes a lot for somebody to acknowledge some of the areas in their life or an area in their life where they feel like they need to improve. So the fact that you recognize that you potentially have anger issues and want to do something about it, I think that's commendable. So I want to say that to you just to encourage you. Also, I want to make sure I'm hearing everything that you have. If I understood you correctly, you did talk about having anger issues, and you deal with students from a high school level, alternative setting, that are at risk. Some are gang members and things like that. And so the basis of the issue I think at hand is that, or the problem is that you have rules in the class, and one of the children disobeyed your rules by coming up to your desk when your rule is everybody stay seated. You'll come to them; they're not to come to you. And so when he came to your desk, it sounds like that angered you, and your response was one that you're not proud of because you responded using profanity. You mentioned the D word, and so you feel bad about that. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're correct. Yes, sir.
All right, sounds good. So um, how if I was let me ask this question. Um, what do you think the class thought of it? What do you think they thought about your response or your reaction?
So, that particular class, there it got them quiet, but before they got quiet, they got serious. It's like steps like this was a side of me that they'd never seen before.
Okay.
And I admit it was a side of me that I not allowed them to ever see before. But I was like pushed to this area. I got so angry that um, I did not control my anger well at that given moment. In retrospect, I can say that. And so the class's response was to get quiet because I said it loud enough. I intended for the class to hear it. I could have just said it to him, but I said it loud enough to get the result for him to hear it, him to see how serious I was about it, and the class to hear it so that they can get quiet. And it worked, but it just was not the best strategy to use to go there. So now I feel like the class is saying to some degree, oh, he's serious, he's an OG, meaning old guard or old gangster, since I
Oh,
have some
so just so that I'm clear on that terminology, OG stands for what again?
old guard or old gangster.
Oh God.
Like he got some street knowledge to him. Okay. He
Okay.
know about the game, you understand?
Okay.
So so it gained me some level of respect, if you will, from both sides of it. That yes, he's the teacher, yes, he operating in his class, he running his class. But then there could be some that after the class is over would go out and report that to my supervisor. And so that's another reason why I feel bad about it as well, is what ramifications it could have on me, on my career, etc. They can document that, put that in my file, it could, it can go, like, as we say, it can go left
Sure.
because
So
I went left. 'Cause I went left with the language, so it can go left.
go left because you went left. Okay, okay.
Yes.
So I want to make sure I got two important parts that I think are significant here. You're concerned about what they would think of you, how they're going to view you going forward as a minister because they know that. But you're also concerned about what the school is going to say and think about it if they catch, when that this particular thing happened where you
Right.
speak profanity to the kids. Okay. So let me ask you this. If we were to set up a goal based on the information that we have, based on the problem, I have a anger issue. I'm dealing with kids that are in gangs and things like that. Um, I,
And
I,
they have their own anger issues, some of them. Some
I,
of them have
I was
issues.
going to
Yeah.
ask that because that's probably why they're there. Because you did mention it was an alternative school, correct?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So obviously there are some issues there in terms of how they deal with their emotions. I'll say emotions because I don't know what they all are. But
Right. Exactly. That's good.
okay. So here it is, a teacher who happens to be a preacher is dealing with anger issues. And he's supposed to be setting the example and instructing kids who have emotional issues, some of which are anger.
Yes,
And
sir.
the teacher does something in the presence of the kids that is not really reflective of what his goal is in terms of the children. Yes?
Right. Yes.
Okay. So if we was to set up a goal, if we was to set a goal on this in terms of how we would move forward, would we say our goal would be to control our emotion, anger, so that we can set the example that we would like to set for the children so that they would know how to control their anger going forward?
Yes. That's a good goal. We can go with that.
We can go with that.
We can do that. Yeah. I can do it.
Okay.
I can do it.
All right. Well, listen, I want to help you do it. I think you can do it, and I'll be walking alongside of you throughout this process to do it. I want you to view me as your spotter. You know what a spotter is?
Like a coach.
Well, the spotter is the guy on the weight bench.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're bench pressing, and I'm there saying, "Come on, Wendell, you got this." And I'll
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yes.
do the heavy lifting, Wendell. You're going to do the heavy lifting. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, and I'll be right here with you. So going forward, that's what we're going to plan to do. What I'd like for you to do at this time is see my assistant out front. She'll get your name and information, and then set you up with an appointment for our next session based on what my current schedule looks like. Is that okay?
That's okay.
All right, sounds good. I look forward to being your spotter, Wendell.
All right, sir. Good. I'll do the lifting.
All right. You
Appreciate it.
All right. God bless.
Thank you.
And stop.